thanks again, everyone, for joining this program. I'm Vikram. I'm part of the Office of Outreach. And those of you who are joining Plaksha session for the first time, a very quick introduction. So Plaksha is a technology university. We are of course we focus a lot on research, and the mission of Plaksha University and why it's been set up is that we want to create technology leaders who can solve some of the biggest challenges that the world faces today in terms of grand challenges, SDGs, or whatever you call it. We feel that there is a need to reimagine technology education. We need a new kind of an engineer, somebody who can solve problems. So our programs, generally when you see engineering colleges, they offer civil engineering, mechanical, electrical, metallurgy, computer science. But if you look at programs of Plaksha, they don't look like that. They are interdisciplinary. They also are, designed to prepare, leaders of tomorrow. We are located in Mohali, in the Chandigarh Tri-City area. Faculty at Plaksha are world class. We have almost about 80%, 80 to 85% of them who have teaching learning experience from some of the best universities in the world. Our approach to education is very different. So, for instance, one of the unique things at Plaksha is that you come in as an undeclared student. You go through something called a freshmore curriculum, which spans about 3 semesters, 18 months. And this is the idea of exploration, where you come in and you explore multiple things. And our hope is that after those 18 months, you make a more informed decision on what kind of major you want to do. So that's quite unique. Our admission process is very unique. We take students who can crack exams, but who can also think for themselves, who can have a conversation, who can connect the dots. We are inclusive in terms of admitting students from different socioeconomic backgrounds. Affordability generally is not an issue for students who apply to Plaksha who get in. So that's a little bit about us, but today is not about the university. Today specifically, talking about one of our more popular majors, which is data science, economics, and business. And I'm happy to introduce Dr. Prakarsh Singh. Prakash, thank you for making the time to join us. And a very short introduction is Prakash is, of course, the chair professor of economics at Plaksha University. He heads the program, which is the DSEB program. He was a science leader and a senior economist at Amazon in Seattle, where he's worked on various things, for over, I think, 7 years. And Dr. Singh brings about, 12 plus years of experience in academia, industry. He's taught at places like Amherst. Of course, his formal education and his PhD is from the London School of Economics. So that's a little bit about him. He's many things. Prakash, over to you. And I think, take us through the program. And the format is going to be that we have about 25 minutes of a formal session where we tell you about the program, and then we'll have about 15-20 minutes where students and parents can ask questions. Over to you, Prakash.
Sounds great. Yeah, and good to see that we have about 28 folks on the call. So we'll get started. Thanks so much again for the kind introduction, Vikram. So I'm going to share a slide deck with everyone. I hope you can see the screen. And this will describe to you the details of why we have the data science, economics, and business major, and what are the types of courses that we have, and in what order students take those courses, and what is the ultimate aim for, if a student takes this major, what are we hoping for in terms of the goals and the aims. So that's the big picture here, and I'll speak for about 20-25 minutes, as Vikram mentioned, and then I'm happy to take questions for the next 15-20 minutes. So Vikram, should I start?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. All right. So so we have come across data every single day. So for example, Google processes over 8.5 billion searches per day. I'm sure many of you would have searched on Google prior to coming for this workshop. Many of us use WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram or some combination of them. And this includes, for example, 3.7 billion monthly active users. YouTube has more than 2.6 billion active monthly users. So these mind-boggling numbers, we are part of these numbers, I think. These numbers help companies process the data, given that it's such a massive amount of data, and make sense of it. But how do companies do that? How do companies like Google, like the Amazon where I was working, or Facebook and its family of apps, how do they actually make sense of the data? Who creates these insights for them? It's certainly not ChatGPT. It's people like who are trained in data science and who are trained in the methods to ask the right questions of the big data and to analyze that through various different approaches that they learn either during grad school or increasingly now during their undergraduate degree. So our DSEB is actually a very future-focused major. There are very few majors today, especially BTech majors, that have data science in them. And what we have is even more unique than that, because we not only have data science, but we have data science combined with economics and business. This is some basic introduction on how fast we have grown the transistor capacity on a microchip. We have basically, this is a log scale on the y-axis and the date of introduction of a particular chip, with different transistors on the x-axis. And what we are finding is that semiconductor capacity has grown 33.5 million times in the last 50 years. And that makes us able to stream Netflix on our phone. But it also makes us a producer of data. We are producing data every second for these companies to mine and build better products, build and monetize those products for their own profitability. It also allows scientists and economists to create strategic insights for business so that they can become profitable, but also engages customers better, right? So the kinds of products I was building out, for example, helped Prime Video improve the customer engagement, the streamer engagement amongst its base. So companies need economists and data scientists to tackle the questions of how to create those insights and how would those insights translate into more profitability for business. Jack Ryan, season 2, let's say it was spending $1 billion. I don't know the exact number now, but let's say it was spending $1 billion. How does it allocate those $1 billion across TV ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, outdoor campaigns, cinema, and for that we need data on the return on each impression that you're serving and how effective those impressions are and what is the shape of that curve look like? How fast do we enter diminishing marginal returns as the impressions start to increase? Because it's not going to be a linear curve in terms of how many people come and watch your show as you keep increasing those impressions. It's going to follow some kind of diminishing returns curve, but that is going to be different for different populations in different regions and for different channels. So building those kinds of models to optimize not only marketing spend, but improving user experience, improving pricing. Those are things that almost every company needs to figure out. I have worked on marketing side in Amazon, then on the HR side. How should we pay people that work for us? How much should we pay in terms of performance pay? How should we structure the incentives? How many hierarchies to have in an organization? How many teams to report to a director? How many people in a team to a manager? So these are questions that, again, data scientists can add a lot of value using the data that they have and make sense for businesses. So we also know that employment of data scientists is projected to grow much faster than for all other occupations. This is the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the US making a projection last year. This is what a day-to-day looks like in an entry-level data scientist role at Amazon, right? So what do data scientists do? They develop models to forecast. So let's say you want to understand in a fulfillment center, which is like kind of your warehouse, how much space is it going to have to store soaps or to store shoes or whatever, right? So you're going to have to forecast that. You're going to have to forecast that if we spend so much money and bring in a particular actor and an actress for this TV show, how many people are going to stream this? You're going to have to forecast that before you sign the contract with the actor and the actress. Classify, to even fraud detection is a classification mechanism. So you want to understand who's taking advantage of the system and who are the people whom you want to kick out, whether they are sellers, whether they are sort of the bad agents, right? Those who the bad Uber drivers, for example, you want to classify them, and you want to detect anomalous business trends. So all of these things require data. You want to be able to work with both technical and non-technical customers, collaborate with financial analysts, data engineering teams, software engineering teams, and so on. And you want to understand what is the right KPI, how should we build out a new set of KPIs that companies should look at, build dashboards. So those are more analytics related roles, but then you can also analyze that data and build models that are scalable, that provide clear insight into the impact. And that's where the data scientists come in. And if you want to translate a dollar value for those values, and understand the causal impacts of certain policies or changes in product design, changes in pricing, that's where economists come in. So you need, obviously, having a degree in data science combined with economics, we think equips you for most types of tasks that require handling data. Where economics comes in, so I'm trained as an economist. I had my PhD in economics, but also bachelor's and master's in economics from the London School of Economics. And before I got down to leading data science teams at Amazon, I was an academic, right? So I was an academic. I was a professor of economics at Amherst College in Massachusetts. And this is what economists do. So, economists don't necessarily just work with stock markets or inflation rates. Those are very specific macroeconomists who do that. Economists understand causal relationships between X and Y. And to a large extent, data scientists do that too. But economists come in with their own set of tools where the stress is on the causal part, and the stress is on interpreting those results in an economically meaningful way for the company and for the CEOs and for the leaders. And they also tend to be better sort of writers and narrators of that data. And so all of that is a good recipe for success, I think, because if you combine data science with econ, then you can turn anything into gold. Literally, like companies can make much more, they can create more value. So if you're running a company, I would strongly suggest not hiring two data scientists or two economists, but hiring one data scientist and one economist. And somehow that 1 + 1 is going to be greater than 2. Here are 4 basic job roles that we think students will end up in after taking the DSEB degree from Plaksha. So one is public policy and research. So this is basically for people who want to go for PhDs, they want to do masters, or they want to work for the government, and they want to do research for think tanks. So there are a set of courses that we think are great for that. But I think by and large, most of our student cohorts want to either do consulting or data science or financial and business analysis. And we have a range of courses that help them become experts in that. And generally, students will be able to become experts in at least 2 to 3 domains. So it's not like if you are taking the DSEB degree, then you only become a data scientist. It allows you to specialize in certain roles. So I've just put a few courses here. There are obviously many more courses that are offered in the degree, and I'll show you in a bit. But it helps you build resilience in the face of shock. So let's say there are no more jobs that year in one domain, then you can switch and almost, like a chameleon, you can change your colors and, from blue to orange, you can suddenly become a data scientist because you have that training to navigate any shocks that you face in the real world. And that resilience in the face of shocks is what distinguishes, I think, our major from run-of-the-mill majors that other institutions may have. So these are the 4 goals. I will run through them quickly, but we have thought a lot about these goals, and there are more details on this that I'm happy to share for anyone interested. But there are 4 main goals. One is to build expertise in the theoretical and methodological foundations for data science and economics. Second is to integrate new knowledge from data science and economics to advance frontiers of business, policy, and academic research. 3 is to understand the complementarities of economics and data science. 4 is to create new data-driven solutions using economic theory and data science and apply principles of responsible data science, environmental health, development, and personnel economics. So these are all elective courses that students have the option of taking so that they can really go ahead and solve real-world problems, social problems, grand challenges that we are facing in the world around us. And so it's not just driven for business and profitability, but we also have a vision where students can also solve grander challenges apart from adding value and making a mark in the business world. These are some detailed aims and objectives on how different courses feed into each of those goals. And then this is what the curriculum looks like. So in the 4th semester, students take courses in data science, which is the yellow part, and they take courses in data mining and machine learning, analysis and algorithms, advanced statistics. So these are core courses, the ones in the white with the white background. And then we have a family of elective courses that can add value to helping them specialize in some of those streams that I was showing you earlier. But we have sort of courses in economics, as you can see. So econometrics is a core course, advanced microeconomics of development. I teach personnel economics as well. We hired someone to teach environmental economics and experimental economics last year. We have a leading statistician of India teach financial econometrics and time series analysis. So, a lot of rich courses, but highly quantitative, applied, rigorous courses that require a lot of math and stats. So when you're thinking about DSEB, think that if you have a student in your school, if you're a counselor, or if you are a student who's good at math and data handling, and especially if you're good at coding, or if you're good at understanding patterns in data, or if you want to understand patterns in the data, this is the course for you. You are going to be using data and applying data and getting your hands dirty with data in almost every single course in DSEB.
Yeah, I think that was it. Thank you so much. All the very best to everyone. And thank you for staying back for about an hour. I think we still have about 30 people on the call. As you're aware, the deadline is 15th of December. So please try and complete your application if you haven't already. And don't wait for the last day, please, because generally if there are some technical issues, if internet goes down, if the server is an issue, something happens, and if you miss the deadline, then it'll get pushed to the next round, right? So give yourself an internal deadline of say maybe 14th evening to complete your application. And all the very best. Yeah, thank you so much.